And my sister called me and I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "No." She said, "Mom's missing." And I said, "What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?" She said, "She's gone." And she was in a panic. I was in a panic.
In the turbulent world of broadcast news, Savannah Guthrie stands as a symbol of stability. She is more than just a journalist. She is the trusted voice that millions of viewers rely on to hear the most important stories each day. With an extraordinary ability to perform under pressure, she can seamlessly transition from interviewing a president to sharing a poignant moment without ever faltering. To the public, she represents a fortress of strength, a woman who has reached the pinnacle of her career through talent and unwavering perseverance. However, that perfect image is now at risk of crumbling. Recently, viewers have suddenly noticed clear signs of instability from Savannah Guthrie. She has been frequently absent from her programs. Concurrently, rumors began to circulate about her mother's disappearance, causing public commotion. This situation is not only pushing Savannah to the brink of leaving her job, but also creating immense pressure for her. So, is her mother's disappearance the horrific secret that has pushed Savannah Guthrie to her absolute limit? Or is there something even more terrifying hidden beneath the surface? And as her prolonged absence continues, what decision will NBC make? Can her career truly weather this storm? The first shock. Before and after my dad died. The resilience we see in Savannah Guthrie today was not innate. It was forged from a painful milestone in her teenage years. Everything took a decisive turn in 1988, when she was just 16 years old. Her father, Charles Guthrie, was a man she lovingly described as larger than life. A mining engineer by trade, he was a warm, humorous, and deeply loving husband and father who served as the emotional anchor for the entire family. He had suffered a heart attack previously, but had made a full recovery, leading the family to believe the worst was behind them. Unfortunately, fate had a different plan. While on a work trip in Mexico, Charles suffered a second, fatal heart attack. The news of his death did not arrive gently. It struck the family with the force of an earthquake, sudden and utterly devastating. It happened on a Friday night. Savannah, a typical teenager, was returning home from an evening out with friends. She immediately sensed that something was terribly wrong. All the lights in the house were on, yet the home was filled with a heavy, unnatural silence. She found her mother, Nancy, and her sister sitting in the living room with their heads bowed. The moment she walked in, her mother rushed to embrace her. In a choked voice, she spoke two words that would alter the course of Savannah's life forever. Dad died. For a 16-year-old, those words were more than just a piece of news. They were a dividing line. Savannah has often shared that, from that moment on, her life was split in two. Before my dad died, and after my dad died. Her safe, predictable world had shattered in an instant. The abruptness of the loss left a permanent mark on her soul. It followed her throughout her life, shaping her worldview and her capacity for empathy. This early experience with grief cultivated a profound softness in her heart. When she later became a journalist, she did not just report on tragedies, she felt them. She understood the pain of families who had lost a loved one because she had lived it. In a way, her greatest childhood tragedy inadvertently set the foundation for her career in broadcasting, a profession that demands both toughness and a deep understanding of human suffering. This first shock taught her the harshest lesson of all. Life can change in the blink of an eye, and true strength isn't about never falling, but about how you get back up. An adult crisis, divorce, and the feeling of failure. After graduating from law school and embarking on a promising career in television, Savannah Guthrie appeared to be on a path to success. She was intelligent, talented, and driven. But while her professional life was flourishing, her personal life was heading toward a quiet crisis that would test her in a new way. In 2005, she married Mark Orchard, a British broadcast journalist. On the surface, They seemed like a perfect match. Their marriage, however, was short-lived. Just 4 years later, in 2009, they divorced. For Savannah, this was not simply the end of a relationship. It was a profound personal failure. She has openly described this period as horrible and sad, and the most difficult time she had faced up to that point. The heartbreak stemmed not just from the separation, but from the deep-seated feeling that she had failed at one of the most important aspects of life. While she was succeeding in front of the camera, behind the scenes, she felt like a failure. This stark contrast between her rising career and her crumbling marriage created intense internal turmoil and triggered serious self-doubt. It took her several years to fully recover from the pain and the sense of shame. She wrestled with the question of how she could manage her professional life so capably, yet fail to sustain her own marriage. It was during this dark and uncertain time that her Christian faith, a part of her upbringing, became a more critical anchor in her life. It was in her moment of brokenness that she found profound comfort in her beliefs. She came to understand that her self-worth was not defined by her marital status or her personal shortcomings. As she later shared, her faith taught her a crucial lesson. I didn't have to be perfect to be loved by God. This belief became a lifeline, helping her to slowly rebuild her confidence and sense of self. The scar from her first marriage never completely disappeared, but it taught her an invaluable lesson about forgiveness, not just for others, but for herself. This painful failure, though devastating at the time, ultimately prepared her for a deeper maturity and set the stage for a new love and an even more challenging journey ahead. The path to motherhood. A late journey to motherhood. A dream of miracles and heartbreak. After navigating the pain of her divorce, Savannah found love again with Michael Feldman, a political consultant. They married in 2014 when Savannah was 42 years old. At an age when many women are watching their children grow up, she was just beginning her own pursuit of motherhood. This journey would prove to be anything but easy. It was a path filled with hope, tears, and medical challenges. In August 2014, Savannah gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Vale Guthrie Feldman. For her, Vale's arrival was nothing short of a miracle. To conceive naturally and have a healthy baby at 42 felt like a blessing beyond measure. The joy of finally becoming a mother filled a space in her heart she had longed to fill for years. However, when she and Michael tried for a second child, they faced a devastating setback. Savannah suffered a miscarriage, a loss that was both physically and emotionally painful. The experience brought a new level of fear, making her wonder if her window for having more children had closed for good. It also gave her a deeply personal and profound empathy for the millions of women who struggle with infertility and pregnancy loss. She now understood their silent grief firsthand. Refusing to give up, the couple turned to in vitro fertilization, IVF, a grueling process that demands immense physical and emotional endurance. They went through 2 difficult rounds of treatment. Savannah worried that she was sacrificing precious time in the present for an uncertain future. Every injection and every medical appointment was a stressful gamble. Ultimately, their perseverance paid off. In December 2016, their son, Charlie Max Feldman, was born. Savannah called him her medical miracle, revealing he was conceived from the last egg out from her IVF cycle. Charlie's birth was a sweet victory at the end of a long and arduous road. Even so, being an older mother brought its own set of complex emotions. The immense joy was often mixed with overwhelming fatigue and a sense of guilt. Savannah would often wonder, do younger parents feel this tired? She worried she lacked the energy to keep up with her young children. Yet, she also found comfort in the belief that her age and life experience allowed her to offer her children the best version of herself. She told herself that her kids were getting the best, calmest version of me. Her challenging journey to motherhood, though filled with obstacles, had brought her a profound happiness and a renewed sense of purpose. Tragedies, from within. A son's accident and health battles. Savannah's joy as a mother, while immense, was not immune to terrifying moments and personal health struggles. Sometimes, the greatest dangers did not come from the outside world, but from the innocent actions of those she loved most. In November 2019, a frightening accident occurred in her own home. Her 2-year-old son, Charlie, while playing, threw a toy train with a sharp edge. It struck Savannah directly in her right eye. The impact was so severe that it tore her retina, causing an immediate and near-total loss of vision in that eye. This was more than just a physical injury. It was a complex emotional ordeal. On one hand, she had to endure extreme pain and the very real fear of permanent blindness, which required multiple complex surgeries to repair. On the other hand, she faced the maternal challenge of protecting her young son from any sense of guilt. "He's 2. He doesn't know what he did," she repeatedly told everyone. She had to conceal the true severity of her injury from Charlie, forcing a smile and reassuring him that everything was fine, all while privately battling pain and uncertainty. It was the silent struggle of a mother, simultaneously enduring physical agony and shielding her child from a psychological burden he was too young to understand. After months of treatment and several surgeries, her eyesight gradually returned, though it never fully recovered. The injury served as a permanent reminder of that terrifying moment. In addition to the eye accident, Savannah has faced other health issues that directly impact her profession. In 2023, she was diagnosed with laryngopharyngeal reflux, LPR, also known as silent reflux. This condition causes chronic hoarseness, a serious problem for a broadcast journalist whose voice is her primary tool. To manage the symptoms, she was forced to make significant lifestyle changes, giving up daily pleasures like her morning coffee, a glass of wine, and acidic foods. These were not minor adjustments, but a daily battle with her own body to continue doing the job she loves. These moments, while less dramatic than the eye injury, revealed a quiet, lonely struggle, a constant fight to maintain her professional composure while dealing with invisible wounds, professional pain. The Matt Lauer scandal and betrayal. Reporting on tragic events is part of a journalist's job, but nothing could have prepared Savannah Guthrie for the shock that unfolded on November 29, 2017. On that day, the tragedy was not a story on her teleprompter. It was sitting right next to her in the studio. Matt Lauer, her co-anchor on the Today Show, her longtime professional partner, and her close friend, was abruptly fired by NBC following multiple allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. The news sent shockwaves through the media industry and the nation. For Savannah, it was a devastating personal blow. That morning, she and Hoda Kotb had to sit in front of the cameras and deliver this news to millions of viewers. It was one of the most difficult moments of her entire career, as she was forced to reconcile her role as a journalist with her feelings as a heartbroken friend. With a trembling voice and tears in her eyes, she attempted to articulate her conflicting emotions. She expressed her personal grief, stating, "I'm heartbroken for Matt. He is my dear, dear friend." Their years-long working relationship and friendship had been destroyed overnight. At the same time, she had to confront the horrific reality of his actions and stand in solidarity with the victims. She added that she and the entire team were disgusted to our core by the behavior that had come to light. This moment was a profound test of the empathy and integrity she had cultivated through her own life's losses. She had to process her own pain and sense of betrayal, while simultaneously guiding her audience through one of the biggest scandals in television history. The Matt Lauer scandal was more than a professional crisis. It permanently changed the atmosphere at the Today Show and left a deep scar on Savannah. She lost a friend and mentor and was forced to confront the painful reality that even those closest to you can harbor dark secrets. A new loss, saying goodbye to a cherished colleague. In the aftermath of the Matt Lauer scandal, Savannah Guthrie found a new and powerful partnership with Hoda Kotb, who became her official co-anchor. Their relationship grew beyond that of mere colleagues. They became close friends, a dynamic duo on-screen and a vital support system for each other off-screen. Together, they steered the Today Show through a tumultuous period and rebuilt trust with their audience. Their friendship became a celebrated symbol of female partnership in the media. But this period of stability was also destined to change. In late 2024, Hoda Kotb announced she would be leaving the Today Show in early 2025 after nearly 2 decades to pursue new personal and professional projects. For Savannah, this news brought another wave of complex emotions. While she was genuinely happy for her friend's new chapter, she was also deeply saddened by the impending departure of her closest work confidant. During an emotional on-air tribute to Hoda, Savannah fought back tears as she spoke about what their partnership meant to her. "If I had it my way, we'd be together forever," she said, calling Hoda like a sister. Hoda's departure marked the end of a successful professional era, but, more importantly, the loss of a daily source of comfort and strength. This event highlighted a growing sense of professional loneliness for Savannah. Having already lost one co-host to scandal, she was now losing another to change. It was a poignant reminder that nothing in life is permanent, and it served as a quiet prelude to a far greater storm that was gathering on the horizon, one that would test her resilience to its absolute limit. The current tragedy. The latest chapter of pain. More than 3 decades after the shock of losing her father as a teenager, and after a lifetime of personal and professional trials, Savannah Guthrie found herself facing the most terrifying family crisis imaginable. On February 1st, 2026, the devastating news broke. Her 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie, was violently abducted from her home in Arizona. The details were horrifying. A doorbell camera captured footage of a masked suspect forcing Nancy from her house. The evidence left at the scene was chilling: bloodstains on the front porch and a ransom note demanding millions of dollars to be paid in Bitcoin. The Guthrie family was plunged into a living nightmare. They issued a public plea, stating, "We will pay anything," desperate to secure Nancy's safe return. The FBI became heavily involved, offering a reward of up to $1 million for any information. As the nation watched in horror, Savannah vanished from the Today Show. Her unexplained absence lasted for over 2 months, but the world knew why she was gone. She was at the center of an unthinkable family tragedy, fighting a silent, desperate battle for her mother's life. On April 6, 2026, she made a surprise return to the air. Her appearance was startling. She was visibly thinner, and her eyes, normally bright and engaging, were hollowed with exhaustion and grief. When welcomed back, she could only manage a few words in a trembling voice. "It is good to be home." She said nothing more about her mother's situation, but her altered presence spoke volumes. It revealed a depth of pain that words could not express. Her ability to return to work while her mother was still missing was an extraordinary display of inner strength, but it also underscored a brutal reality. Life must go on, even when your heart is broken. This was the latest and most painful chapter in the long series of tragedies Savannah Guthrie has quietly endured. Faith, the unifying thread. Throughout Savannah Guthrie's tumultuous life, one constant has served as her anchor: her faith. It has not been a simple or unwavering belief, but a complex, evolving relationship with God that has been tested and strengthened through every trial. This journey of faith has been the red thread weaving through the fabric of her life story. It was first truly forged in the fire of her father's death when she was a teenager. Amid the confusion and grief, her faith offered a glimmer of hope. Later, during the painful divorce that left her feeling like a failure, it provided comfort and reminded her that her worth was unconditional. Her difficult journey to motherhood, marked by miscarriage and the anxieties of IVF, challenged her faith with questions of fairness and divine timing. But the eventual miracle births of her children reaffirmed it. Faith gave her the strength to endure the physical and emotional pain of her eye injury and other health issues. It provided her with a moral compass during the Matt Lauer scandal, helping her balance compassion with justice. And as she has navigated professional losses, it has helped her cope with loneliness. Savannah herself described her spiritual journey by saying, "Belief and doubt, joy and disappointment and sorrow, it's all part of my faith journey. It has enhanced what I believe about God." Nowhere has her faith been more severely tested than in the 2026 kidnapping of her mother. In those darkest days, when fear was all-consuming, it became her ultimate refuge. It was this faith that gave her the strength to return to television, to face the world while her own was falling apart. Her faith has never been a shield that protects her from suffering, but rather an anchor that holds her steady in the storm. A symbol of resilience. The life of Savannah Guthrie is a powerful narrative of human endurance. From losing her father at 16 to a devastating divorce, a heartbreaking journey to motherhood, a shocking accident caused by her own son, professional betrayal, and now, the unimaginable horror of her mother's abduction, she has faced enough sorrow to break anyone. Yet, she continues to stand. Her strength comes not from an absence of pain, but from her profound ability to endure it. She remains upright, supported by a faith tested by fire, by a remarkable inner strength, and by a deep love for her family. Her return to television in the midst of her darkest crisis is a living testament to that power. Her story sends a poignant message. No one is immune to tragedy, but what truly defines us is how we rise after we have been knocked down. Savannah Guthrie is more than a television star. She is a symbol of resilience. In the bright studio lights, Savannah Guthrie still smiles, but behind it is a heart that has been broken many times and mended by love and faith.